Makers, welcome back to my channel. This week we're going to be putting on an amazing firework display for you, except it'll be in a glass. So, what this firework display is it's food colouring dropped into a mixture, well, not a mixture, of water and oil. The oil will sit on top of the water, and as you drop the food colouring in, it will leave a colourful trail in its path. Sometimes fireworks can be absolutely amazing, but sometimes the trees can get in the way, so this is really perfect experiment. What you need for it is food colouring. We have 3 colours. We are using green, yellow and blue. You will also need a glass, which you will fill 3/4 of the way to the top with water. You will also need a second glass, smaller, filled with any type of cooking oil, as long as it's a vegetable, and a fork. We're also using toothpicks because unfortunately our food colouring bottles don't have droppers in them, so we're going to use the the toothpicks to dip into the food colouring and then dip back into the oil. So it will take a bit longer, but hopefully it should get the same result. The way this experiment works is that when you add the food colouring to the oil, it won't mix, and it will stay on top for a little while and then sink to the bottom, because the food colouring has a higher density than the oil. So naturally it will sink, and the 2 items can't mix, so the oil won't become yellow and green and blue. It will just stay like normal oil. And when you add the oil to the water, the oil will sit on top, because the oil and the water are irmixable, meaning they can't mix together, so you can't have oily water. Then when the food colouring sinks away from the oil and into the water, it dissolves into the water, and that's what leaves the colourful trail behind them. It's not actually the food colouring that is the fireworks, it's the trail that they leave. The first thing we have to do is add the food colouring to the oil. Now if you're doing this with a dropper bottle, I recommend that you use no more than 4 or 5 colours and add no more than 3 or 4 drops, because otherwise it just gets a little bit messy. And the reason we're not adding red to this is because it tends to turn things brown, and I've watched a few videos on it and every single one of them the water turned all brown. I don't know whether it will happen with this, but fingers crossed not. Oops, I hit the edge of the glass. So now we've added all of the drops, we're going to break them up with the fork and add them to the water. Now let's add the oil to the water. as you can see, we moved out into the garage because we were worried about getting the food colouring on the kitchen worktop, and we could get a better shot out in the garage. And this is a really great experiment. It actually looks like fireworks close up, and it's just really, really pretty. And underwater, it's basically how I imagined fireworks looking underwater. They're kind of a little bit more droopy, but they still look really exciting and amazing. So if you like these science videos and would like to see more of them, please put a comment down in the chat box down below, and put your suggestions for any other videos down there if you want to, because we're always open to ideas. And don't forget to like, subscribe and ring that notification bell, and I'll see you next week Mini Makers. Bye!